All right, welcome back. It's time for us to get into some interesting conversations about
the Ashanti Gate.
The Ashanti Gate.
Yes,
Ashanti Gate.
Yeah.
So it's coined by our colleague Fentio Tahiro Fentio.
And we've adopted it.
Yeah, we like it.
Yeah.
Ashanti
Yeah.
Gate. So we have we have our colleagues here. Of course, Duke. Duke, hold on. Let me finish introducing all of you. So Duke Mesopoko, of course, in the last conversation he was with us. But Daniel Kranting has also joined us on the set this morning. Now, Duke, you were saying that you have an issue with the
she
name
said proper hello to Daniel. You know.
Daniel, welcome.
He's messing up my
You can't do that.
It's your sign, isn't it?
Hi, Daniel. Hi, Daniel.
Listen, me relax.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah, hi, Daniel. How are you this morning? Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you. I like coming on this set.
Yeah. How is Sydney?
Oh, he's very good. I didn't expect that question, but yeah. He's very good.
Well, but I've asked.
Yeah, he's very good.
Hi, Sydney.
There are two Sydneys in his household.
No, he knows the
Junior
Sydney.
or senior?
No, he knows
aware.
the Sydney we are talking about.
She's aware.
Definitely not Sydney.
Aware.
Aware.
Aware. You know he's aware.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Be careful
So
saying that.
what's your issue with Ashanti
This
Gate?
issue involves two clubs, Ashanti Gold and Inter Allies. Why are we calling it Ashanti Gate?
No, I think I can.
Yes.
I can come in with this, okay?
What?
So it looks like, Daniel, please correct me if I'm wrong. So the Inter Allies, right now they are saying that you can't really make it about Inter Allies because the Ne Amwa guy, he's only a volunteer who is not on this. But as for Ashgold, it is the owner
and the CEO.
and the CEO, you understand? So they can't really absolve themselves from anything. Say again.
It takes two to tango. If they are Inter Allies,
But you can tango with the wrong person, and
When
at the end of the day, you realize that you are on your own.
If they didn't agree,
Because what I think
there wouldn't be a fix.
No, what
a
I
fixed
think
match.
Ashanti Gold could have also
Attempted
done
fixing is
was
also one of
to get someone else, either than the CEO or the owner, to go and do it. So if Mata comes, it's not like I know the inside. I don't know, but
if you've done something and it has worked for you for a number of times, you grow in confidence.
yeah,
So
well,
this is
every
not-
day for this
So this is not the first time they did it. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, this is not the first time they
So
did
we're
it.
good for the assembly.
The assembly and in the yellow shirt.
Was it yesterday that you were in the yellow shirt? Monday. No, David was in the yellow shirt representing live, Gold City.
Today's Thursday. No, it was Tuesday.
It was Tuesday.
Yeah.
No, we like you in yellow shirt. Daniel. So give us more details, so for people who have not really followed the story, where have we come from and where are we with this Ashanti Gold and Inter Allies match fixing issue?
A lot has happened since Monday. The ruling came out on Monday. Both clubs, so the backstory, at the end of last season, both clubs were involved in a game. Ashanti Gold were safe in the Premier League. Inter Allies were already going down. When the two teams entered the stadium, in fact, there were reports players were hearing that fans were chanting the score 5-1. It was like a fixed game. They went in. It was 5-0 at the time. Hashmi Musa, who was probably previously with Inter Allies, he came onto the pitch. He purposely scored 2 own goals, made the score 7-0. He finished the game and went to the press and said he did that because he had heard that the game was a fixed game, so he intentionally scored the 2 goals to spoil the bet. And then that's what raised suspicions. And then, of course, an investigation was launched into the matter. So what has happened, what came out on Monday was that both teams were demoted to Division 2. Both teams were fined 100,000 Ghana cedis. The owner and then the CEO of Ashgold, they also got their respective bans and also respective fines. Same applied to Inter Allies. Their head coach, team manager also had respective fines and respective bans. But a lot has happened since then. There have been interviews, people have spoken, people have insisted that they are innocent. The likes of Inter Allies former coach Felix Abuaji, he was the one on the bench on that day.
Yeah.
He has insisted that he was innocent. He says he didn't receive any money. He didn't have any idea that anything like that was happened. Anything like that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Seth Owusu, he used to play for Ashgold. In fact, he was on the pitch that day. When you read the report from the GFA in terms of their investigations, he's the one who asked the famous question, have your elders spoken to you? Yeah, he asked that. Yeah, Sato he spoke to him.
Are you aware?
Are you aware? Have your elders spoken to you? He was asking the question to former Inter Allies midfielder, now with Kotoko, Richmond Lamptey. That question. A lot has happened. Richmond Lamptey Kotoko, he's now with Kotoko. He received a 2.5-year ban Kotoko have publicly backed him. They says will help him through the appeal process just to make sure he clears his name. So a lot has happened since then. As at now, both clubs have launched appeals. Inter Allies have launched an appeal. Or filed an appeal. Ashanti Gold have also filed an appeal. But Inter Allies' appeal is, excerpts of that are privy to the press. So they are arguing on the basis that the guy you mentioned, Emmanuel Niamwa, he was not an official, he's not an official member of the club. He was just a volunteer. So his actions cannot be. So
what exactly does that mean? He is just a volunteer. What was his work, or what is his work?
So he accompanies the teams on their trips. He helps out. Not an official team manager, but he does things. He helps out the team a lot, especially in away matches when they travel. He helps them out. He sorts them out, hotels, organizes things like that. But he's not officially on their books. But what the GFA used to tie him to the club was the 2014-2015 FIFA records, where he was listed as an official member of the club. What the GFA didn't mention was whether he was listed since that time or he was listed just for that season. So we can't tell what exactly that is. But the club are arguing that he's not officially on their books. He just helps them out. So the actions of one person cannot be. You can't use that to punish the entire legal entity that is Inter Allies Football Club. So that is what they argue.
So assuming it comes out and it's established now that he was assigned or he was signed only for that season, what would it mean to this case?
Yeah, so that's what they are arguing on. That so their point is, yes, that season he was, but since then he's been an unofficial member. So yes, he helps out. So what it means is that the GFA will need to. So they are arguing that the GFA will punish the individual or the individuals who were involved, not necessarily the team as a whole, because even per the GFA ruling that came out, the likes of Hashmi Musa and a number of other players, yes, they heard that this was going to happen, but they were not for it. And Hashmi Musa, that's the reason why he went on to score the 2 own goals, just to destroy the plot. So they are saying that there were some players in their team and some officials in their team who maintained integrity. It wasn't the entire team. So if one person who is not an official member was able to corrupt 1 or 2 people and they bought into that, you shouldn't punish the entire team for their mistake. You should go and punish the individuals who were involved, not the team as a whole. And that's also what a lot of people who've read the ruling sort of side with that. With that assertion, because even in the ruling, the GFA interviewed the Delali Sena, he's a vice chairman of Inter Allies Football Club, just after the game. When he went into the GFA ethics committee, the interview meeting, he had already launched an internal investigation into the matter. He didn't know what had happened. They interviewed him. He maintained integrity. He didn't know anything that was going on. And that is the vice chairman. So that is their point. If as somebody as high as a vice chairman didn't know what was going on, he took action to launch an internal investigation. And it comes out that it was somebody whose last official tie with the team came in 2014-2015. They don't think it's fair to give them the same punishment as, first of all, they don't think it's fair to punish the team. And then second of all, the same punishment as Ashgold, who have their owner and then their CEO directly involved in the matter. So they feel it's a bit unfair. That's why they are.
So Ashgold has also filed an appeal. Do we have an idea what the...
Theirs hasn't come out officially. What we know is aspects of, parts of the appeal hasn't come out to the public. But we know that they've launched an appeal. One of their shareholders was speaking, Masiken. He was speaking on Monday, right after the incident happened. He's a minority shareholder and also a board member of the club. He said that as for the ban to the owner and the CEO, that is their personal matter. They don't care about it. But the fact that the team is also being punished. So his point is that the owner and the CEO, the club has a board. And the board must meet and agree on decisions for the club. These guys did this thing for their own selfish gain. So similar to the Inter Allies thing, they feel those 2 individuals should be punished along with the players who bought into that, not necessarily the team, because people like him and some 1 or 2 players and staff on the team were not for the match being fixed and incidents like that. So they are also, it looks like that is where they will also argue out the fact that yes, the owner, yes, the CEO were part. But when it comes to decisions of the club, they are taken by the board. And then, so if this decision didn't pass through the board, it cannot be taken as a club decision to fix a game.
Do you have any idea if GFA is backing down from their position, or?
No, it's subject to an appeal. So they've issued a ruling, it's out there. We know the sanctions will take place from next season. So that means from next season, both Inter Allies and Ashanti Gold will play in the Division 2. Yeah. So it's subject to an appeal. If you appeal and you win the appeal, then they'll go back on the sanctions. But for now, what they've stated is what is going to happen. And in fact, Kotoko is supposed to face Inter Allies. Was it today? Yes. Ashgold. Yeah, they were supposed to be Ashgold today. That game has been postponed due to security reasons. GFA postponed that game due to security reasons. They couldn't guarantee the safety of both the team players and the staff in the game.
So what does all this mean, to Ghana football, especially to our local league?
You see, it's for the stakeholders of the league. A lot of people we are proud of the GFA for taking this strong stance because there's been a lot of suspicion. It's almost been very clear that some of these things are happening. They arrive in the game. So it's about time that the GFA took a stance. And this is it's a very strict stance. They've taken a bold stance. It's out there. They've punished 2 teams that, especially Ashgold, who are traditional Ghana Premier League. Yeah. Nobody ever thought somebody will have the courage to get up and issue such such sanctions to a team like Ashgold. But they've done it. And you see, especially the timing of it, when it reaches this point of the season, in fact, if you juxtapose this to last season, this is when the last 5-6 games of the season where teams already know their fate. This is when these things begin happening. A team that is safe already knows that whether they lose or win a match is not taking them anywhere. So then they can meet with other teams and discuss results and match fixing and things like that. So for the GFA to come out with this thing now and do it, for it to be so strong and so steady, it will put a lot of fear in other teams, especially at this point of the season, not to venture in anything like that. So yes, we are happy. But if you go deeper into the thing, you sort of understand where some of the club officials are coming from, especially Inter Allies. The fact that when you read the ruling from the GFA, and this is not just because they are saying it, people already had that sentiment when they read the ruling. The fact that somebody whose last tie with the team is in 2015, his actions are going to affect an entire group of people. And if you look at some of the people who handle Inter Allies and what their contribution to Ghana football and things, it's a bit unfair for that to affect the entire team. So yes, it's strong. It's a very strict and very certain ban and very certain sanctions.
When was this match played?
At the last game of last season, so the 2021-22 season. No, 2020-21 season.
So do we know the month?
Yes, July.
Okay. Now, why did it take this long, almost a year, for us to come up with these findings? Is it that the situation was so grave, or the offense was so grave that it had to take this long, for us to complete our investigations? Was it that the GFA wasn't really going to do anything about it, but because of pressure from outside, they were forced to do something? What exactly? Why? Is it a normal time for investigations to be conducted?
When you read the report, and we'll give the GFA a benefit of the doubt, when you read the report, you can tell it was very thorough.
Okay.
They speak about inviting players who had now moved to Nigeria, giving them opportunities to come. They found that they would not come. They had to hold meetings by Zoom. They had to speak to everybody. When you see something like this,
get phone records.
And these things take time.
Phone records. You need court orders to get phone.
Exactly. These things take time. So it's very understandable. And the fact of the matter is also that we're always going to jump on them if the thing came out and they hadn't done a thorough job. So they had to be very meticulous about their actions, go step by step, make sure that everything they were getting was factual, and then come out with the findings. So yes, you can understand when you look at these things and you understand the legal processes to some of these things, you can understand why it took such a long time. So I will not really go on the back of GFA for not releasing it, because nobody wants a shabby job to be done. Everybody wants a top-class job to be done.
So from police, riots,
people don't know that I started life as a sports journalist.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
really?
Yes.
Wow.
I started life as on the University of Ghana campus. Okay. I've reported on everything from badminton to tennis to.
Oh wow!
We are proud of you.
Oh wow!
To go ball.
So why did you switch?
There's more money.
It's an It's.
But now there's money. You didn't.
I switched. Oh, there's somebody here who was. No, the person is no longer here. But there was somebody here who was responsible for that switch, from me moving from sports to what I'm doing now.
Really?
I don't know whether to thank the person or not.
Anyway, who is that person?
That's just, he's still in the Raymond Dakwa. He's the one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
he was my programs manager at Universe.
Okay.
And I met him here. When I met him here, I said, my friend, no, you are not doing sports here.
No, the parliament thing.
Well, because I also came in 2015, 2016 when the country was all getting ready for
election and everything.
I don't know. Anyway, but I still love my football. In fact, 2 weeks ago I was at the Babaya to watch Ediana and Kotoko.
Okay.
I was also at Babaya to watch Kotoko and BBN Gold Stars, the biggest win for my team, Kotoko, this season by 5-1. I watched all the 2 Kotoko Hearts games in Accra recently.
Okay.
Next week I'll go and watch Kotoko and Olympics. No, so wow. I love the GPL.
I've never watched a football match in the stadium.
Oh, too bad. That's sad.
I think this is so bad.
That's sad. That's sad. I actually love watching the. If you put the Premier League and I mean people will be maybe shocked, but if you put the Ghana Premier League and another league, even EP or whatever, then I will go and watch the Ghana League because it's more personable and for someone who grew up watching games and Babaya and things, it's much more personable. Who Todd Bowley doesn't know me, even though I'm a Chelsea fan, but I know some of the players. Richard Bodu, Agadas of Kotoko is like we talk almost, we exchange messages and all of that. It's personable, so I mean I love to watch. So it's sad that the Ghana League is going through this. But it has this positive and negative. The positive is the fact that I'm happy the GFA has taken such a bold step because, I mean, match fixing did not start today. We remember, I think from 10 years ago, the Nanya FC 39-41-0 and all of that. So there's precedent to this. So I'm happy that
Nanya FC case, a case of all time. Yes. How can you play football for 90 minutes and score 30? Why?
So it's not. So I'm happy they did that. And if you read, I mean, I'd off my house to Osekojo Esquire and the people on the team. They did, if you read the report, very thorough, well done. I mean, you look at that, it's a watertight report, judgment that they've put out there. I mean, can compare it to any High Court or Supreme Court judgment. If you look at the work that has been done, super. So the lawyers who are appealing will have a very hard job trying to punch loopholes into the judgment and to raise their cases. But I understand the argument of artificial person and corporate body entity or corporate entity being separate from the people. I mean, it's a basic legal argument. Maybe that's what they will explore to push their case out there. The negative side for me, though, is that already this is a league that is, after the botched episode with Namwan's Xylophone, who are sponsoring the league with $10 million, we've not had a headline sponsor for our league. For the past 2 years, we don't have a headline sponsor. And this is a league that, if you do the African rankings, now the Moroccan league is at the top. We keep dropping. In fact, Tanzanian league and Burkina Faso league, they are all better than the Ghana league. Swaziland league. Swatini. Or what, their league is better than our league. I remember at a point we had 2 slots. At a point we had 2 slots each in the CAF Confederation Cup and in the Champions League. So at a point we had Haas and Kotoko in the Champions League and we had King Faisal and I think Brekumas now in the Confederation Cup. The first Confederation Cup that was played in 2004 had Hearts and Kotoko in the final. That shows you tomorrow evening is Bekani and Orlando Pirates who are playing the first time of that competition. We had 2 Ghanaian clubs in the final. So that tells you how far we've come. And at a point in time in the 90s, I think from 91, 92, 93, we had Kotoko in the Champions League final in 92. 93, 94, we had Goldfields, this same Ashanti Goals. That time it was Goldfields. They went back to back, 97 and 98 with Raja. They were in the Champions League final, back to back. So
2000
Haas was then, they won it. So we've come from a place where...
So what has happened?
That's what I'm talking about. I don't know if the rise of the Black Stars and our GPL has an inverse relationship. So since the Black Stars started going up, a lot of the managers who are football at the point in time neglected the Ghana League. So for me, on the commercial side, if you have things like match fixing, if you have things like fans hooliganism, people beating up people 2 weeks ago in the Division 1 league and all of that, which corporate entity do you expect to come and put their league? Yes, I mean, if Kotoko can attract more Kotoko, now the jerseys has no space even for sponsors. You have Hisense, you have NLA, you have Access.
The new jersey is
so
out,
many people.
Daniel, I need one, please. Nathan promised me to take me to the stadium to watch football match.
If you want a Hearts jersey, I can get it for you. But
he's a Hearts fan, so he will not. He's a Hearts fan, so he will not.
I'm sick. to wear house jerseys. I can't. You know, my yare, you know. I mean, so I'm just making a formal complaint to you that Nathan has deceived me on public television, on national TV. He didn't deliver.
The legal entity Nathan Kwa is very different from the legal entity Daniel Grant.
So I am making this complaint to you, knowing that you are of good standing, so you can take Nathan on my behalf. No, I'm not accusing you of anything.
So these matters on the question of law.
Very important. So for me, I think that it's a good step. The GFA should harness the goodwill that's on the back of this case to at least better the commercial side of the league and get the sponsorship side fixed. We shouldn't relent on our outside. I know that currently there are some referees and players of Bekum Chelsea who are also under investigation. They took betting slips from them. Footballers who are going to play football. Wow. And I think that, you know, we need to be careful. The Gaming Commission maybe needs to look at it. Betting world over has a certain intertwined relationship with football and all other sports. But we need to be careful it doesn't end up spoiling our game or, diluting its integrity. So it's very important we need to draw the fine lines between all of these things. So it's a good and a bad side. The bad side is the fact that it may get our league to sink down further in terms of its commercial attraction. But the good side is that it's a firm step that the GFA has taken. So they need to build on that to enhance the good part of it. I'm praying that the Inter-Allies appeal succeeds in a way, because it would then mean that one of our best players this season, Richmond Lamptey, is extricated of the ban. I'm being a selfish fan here.
No, this one day I co-sign. Yes. You know, but quickly before we go, Daniel,
one last thing before I forget. I think that Ashgold is where it is because the gold company decided to divest its shares to a private person. At the time, we understand that the Ashanti Gold Company was going through problems. Now things are coming back. We beg them.
They should go back to being majority shareholders
to take their club. You know, previously they used to deduct. Part of the workers' salaries. There was an amount deducted from workers' salaries to support the club. We beg Ashgold. We beg them. We can't lose the third most influential club in our country. We beg them. They should go back
Black Sheriff says he's thinking of going to stage a concert, in Obuasi. Because I said, this is your season too. Don't do it. You get it. But quickly before we go, Daniel, how should moving on, the FA position itself? Because now we are commending them for the great job they have done. But if it happens to other people, for instance, if Dreams FC is involved and other people like that are involved, how should they position themselves?
Right now, they've set a precedent. So it will be very difficult for them to go back on this. And it looks like when we spoke to the General Secretary of the Ghana Football Association was on Sports Panorama Radio a couple of weeks ago. And he spoke about their zero tolerance policy. In fact, it was there where he gave us the confidence that the report was coming out very soon. So they've stated a precedent, and I will not be surprised if other teams are involved. No matter the team, they will come back and do sanction. But another thing that they also need to watch is the revenue that the league generates and the revenue that clubs also generate. Because when this thing happens, when you speak to some of the players, although they understand that it's wrong, they also feel very sorry for some of the players that have been implicated. Because if you look at a league with an average salary of, if you take Hearts and Kotoko out, average salary of about 800, 700 Ghana cedis a month, it's extremely difficult for somebody not to go outside his means of getting money. I'm not justifying anything, but
when elsewhere, people playing
300,000
leagues are taking this much. You understand?
We're talking about Africa. We're talking about Africa. If you look at the South African league, the South African league has a higher average salary than the likes of Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden.
Are you serious?
So if you're playing South
Africa,
the money, the PSL,
good money. Kwame Pepra at Orlando Pirates. I know
roughly
for a fact.
$10,000.
Yes, I know for a fact that Richard Ofori, who is playing for Orlando Pirates, earns more than Mohamed Kudus.
Okay,
I know that for a fact.
Thank you very much, Daniel Kwan.
PSL, they know the play. An Egyptian league and Morocco league.
Thank you very much. You gotta go. We gotta go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Duke.
From a Premier club.
All right. Well,
in the finals.
we'll take a short break. Don't go
anywhere.
We'll be right back.